All right, everyone, we start off today, of course, talking about Iran's president, of course, Ebrahim Raisi. He is dead now. He died in a helicopter crash under odd circumstances. Normally, you don't take your head of state and put him in a helicopter and then fly them into an area with virtually no visibility and bad weather. That seems like a recipe for disaster now, doesn't it? A little bit too on the nose, actually. I think that he was assassinated along with the Azerbaijani dignitaries, actually, that were aboard the helicopter. The problem with trying to figure out who done it is going to be very difficult because there are a laundry list of people who would want this to happen. There's Iranian resistance, dissidents within the nation of Iran. They're not fans of the current administration. Of course, you've had protests and riots and things of that nature. You've had brutality by the Iranian authorities. There are liberal groups that are springing up that want to restore Iran to what it was before the Ayatollah actually took power. Him being a contemporary of the Ayatollah, yeah, there might be an impetus for that. Then you've got the thing going on between the Armenians and the Azerbaijanis. Of course, again, you get a couple of those dignitaries on board the helicopter, and they just happen to be within 100 miles of those borders at the time that the helicopter crashes. Then you've got Turkey, Israel, the Palestinians, Hezbollah. You've got a laundry list of different groups that would have their own reasons for bullseyeing the president of Iran. And then there's the U.S., maybe the Eastern Bloc countries, maybe the Russians. Who fucking knows? It's entirely up in the air. What I'm positing, though, is that it's probable that this was not an accident. It's probable that this was on purpose, that somebody fired a rocket at this helicopter when it was trying to come down or something along those lines. Took them a while to find it, by the way. Originally, it was like, under adverse weather conditions, there was a hard landing, and we're not sure what happened. We lost communication with the helicopter. That was last night. And so, we're hoping for the best, but we're expecting the worst, one of those scenarios. Now we know indeed the president of Iran is dead. I believe that everyone on board died. It looks like an assassination, like somebody rigged an explosive to the helicopter or somebody bullseyed it out of the air. And so this has wider implications. The Israelis immediately weighed in, said, "Oh, the butcher's dead. Ha, your loss. Hee hee." It's pretty funny. Rather telling now, isn't it? Of course, with the ICC issuing an arrest warrant for Netanyahu in the exact same 24-hour span, and the leaders of Hamas, by the way, as well, rope-a-doped into that one, there's an awful lot of intrigue going on in the Middle East at the moment. I have a feeling that these things are probably connected. I can't quite understand how, but I think that they are. It doesn't take an idiot to, put two and two together. Iran's president is dead. Now you've got, what is his name, Mohammed Mokhber, actually. He's the acting president at the moment. He was sort of the second in command. And so the Iranian state, there's a little bit of shaky right now at a time when you've had, again, protests, you've had riots. There's police brutality in Iran against people who are dissidents. They're trying to straddle the line and semi-liberalize things while also keeping things very much tamped down. And it isn't working too well. And then you have that minister last week saying, "Hey, we've got the atomic bomb." It's going to go over well with the Israelis, by the way. I would point out that this sort of thing is not common. And it always seems to coincide with some other socio-political intrigue now, doesn't it? Like when the president of Pakistan, this was years ago, she came out, first female president in Pakistan, she came out and gave an interview and she said, "Well, yeah, Osama died of kidney failure years ago. The United States will never catch him because he's dead." It wasn't long before she was gunned down in her motorcade, now was it? It wasn't long after that we got Osama bin Laden. John McCain swears he saw the pictures and can vouch for the fact that he was actually Osama and actually died, but I've always had my conspiracy theories with regards to that one. I think many other people share that basic premise. That was a big one. Now Iran's president's dead. Well, look, coincidences don't happen within sociopolitics. You have a war between Israel and Hamas right now. It's involved Hezbollah, the Yemeni Houthis, and so forth. There's a lot of various actors within that region who have some skin in the game. And all of a sudden, inexplicably, they decide to fly the president into a border zone under the worst of possible weather conditions. Again, put two and two together. I have a feeling that there was foul play involved. Whether or not we get that revealed to us is anyone's guess. And of course, the Iranians will spin it with state propaganda as well. So You're not necessarily sure if they find evidence that the CIA knocked him off. It could be the Iranians just posturing, or it could be that the CIA knocked him off. They'll have achieved their goal. The average person will not know the truth, that they will know nothing about what's going on. I don't think that it was just a basic bitch crash. I think this was an assassination, actually. I don't think that that's even a conspiracy theory. Again, protocol with regards to very high-level officials tends to be more beefy than your regular commercial airliner or something like that. You know, you're going up in a hot air balloon as a tourist. Well, nobody really cares if the hot air balloon crashes other than your family. It doesn't become an international incident. On the back of what's happening in that region at this time, with Israel, Gaza, with Hezbollah, it was an Iranian proxy force basically, with Iran itself, it would be odd, the coincidental timing of the downing of that particular helicopter, simply due to the fact that there was fog, doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Under normal circumstances, they would have landed elsewhere, or they would have waited until the weather conditions improved, or something like that. And they would have had some sort of contingency in mind. This is the president of a relatively large country, with a relatively large military, with a relatively large political footprint within the region. It wouldn't make sense under any other circumstances for this sort of event to happen. It's possible that they just misjudged the weather, but it's not likely. It's much more likely that he was killed. And, I mean, if we find out was it the Armenians? Oh, they decided they didn't care about the fact that the president was aboard. Maybe didn't know, but they knew that Azerbaijani diplomats were aboard, and two of the top-ranking ones at that, so they decided to take a shot. The CIA could have done it. The Russians could have done it. The laundry list is extremely long. There are dozens of possible perps here. I don't think we'll ever find out who done it, at least not in the contemporary sense. But I have a feeling that someone done it. I don't think that this was just a random accident. I'll be talking about it more on today's live stream. That's about all. Peace out.